Well. What's up, everybody? What a Monday night of hoops we just had. We had a thriller in New York with the Hawks taking on the Knicks and getting the dub on the road, evening up that series with the Knicks at 1-1. And then to finish it off, the nightcap was an awesome game. We had the Nuggets at home taking on the Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves, I will admit, in that first quarter, I thought this was pretty much the end of their season because Ant Edwards looked hobbled, looked like his knee was bothering him. He missed a whole bunch of time at the end of the regular season because of that knee injury. And it looked like a hobbled Edwards. And honestly, the deficit they were facing at that point, they were down about 15 points already early on in this game. It just seemed like there was no coming back from it. And that was that. But I mean, I guess I should say too, maybe not too many people surprised because we've seen this movie before. I mean, the Nuggets and the Wolves have done this dance so many times. And a lot of the times it ends up being the Nuggets going up big and the Wolves coming back. And that's exactly what happened today. The first half, I should say the first quarter was all Denver. It looked like they were in the driver's seat to just take their foot, keep it on the gas, go on cruise control and take this victory home. But that's not what happened. The game was tied at halftime thanks to a half-court heave by Jamal Murray. And then that second half, it stayed steady until the end. And then, I mean, truthfully speaking, I don't know why, and I'm not going to criticize them too much because they're outstanding players. But Jokic and Murray looked gassed. And that was the story for me. Those last 5 or 6 minutes, I mean, the Nuggets not benched, but they took Jamal Murray out with 6 minutes left to give him a little extra breather where the game was very close. It was, a tie game pretty much. And then they brought him back after a TV timeout and 5 minutes left on the clock. So he got 1 minute of rest of game time is all he got. And they just looked gassed. Every shot was short. If you watch that, you could see it. Every shot Jokic took was short. Every shot Murray took was short. And then the most telling was 50 seconds left. It's a 4-point game. It was a 3-point game. Nope, wrong. It was a 2-point game. And Jokic has, a clear look at the basket, maybe 8 feet away from the hoop. And Edwards is the only guy in front of him. And he's got a significant amount of a height advantage over Ant Edwards. And it's a floater that we've seen Jokic make a million times. And instead, he passed it down to Christian Braun. It almost was stolen by Ant Edwards. And Braun was fouled, and he missed one of the free throws. And then at that point, that's when the game pretty much wrapped up. Julius Randle hit both of his free throws. It was a 3-point game. And then they had a timeout to use. They didn't call it. They wanted to get a quick shot up with 19. There was 19 seconds left on the clock at that point where they inbounded. And Jamal Murray takes a contested 18-footer that, hits the rim. It's short. It's not a smart shot. At that point, if it's not there, call a timeout, set up a play for a 3-pointer. I didn't like that coaching move there. Like I said, I don't mind trying to get a quick shot without using the timeout. But if you see the play start developing and you didn't get the switch you wanted or the look that you were looking for, call timeout. You still got 10 seconds left. You can draw up either a quick 2 or a play to try to tie it for 3. So the coaching there at the end I didn't love. But again, this Nuggets team just seemed gassed. And look, I get it. These guys are playing big minutes. Jokic played 40 minutes, but it's 40 minutes, man. It's the playoffs. Like I said, what I meant by this earlier is, I don't want to blame these guys too much because if it wasn't for Murray and Jokic, this team would be a lottery team. But it's the playoffs, man. Jamal Murray played 43 minutes, Jokic 40, and you guys are gassed in game 2 of the first round. I know Jokic has missed some time, but I don't think that's acceptable. It's the playoffs. And I'm obviously, when I say I don't think that's acceptable, it's early. It's game 2. The series will probably go super long anyway. But I'm just saying it was surprising and shocking to see these guys gassed. And they're at home. It's not like they're the ones that aren't used to the altitude, right? And Edwards, 40 minutes, 30 points. He took some bad shots, I thought, in this game. So the numbers look nice, 30 points and 10 rebounds. But, I did not think he had a great game. Dante DiVincenzo, I think, had an incredible game. Let me look at it. Yeah, his plus minus was a plus 20, okay? The closest to that is a plus 6 for Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels. So that tells you everything. DiVincenzo carried this team throughout the game. He made a huge 3 late in the fourth quarter. So, again, props to him. But like I said, look, this team, props to Ant Edwards because I will say this, as much as his offensive game I thought was kind of iffy with some bad shot taking, he is a winning player. And I'll talk about that more as we talk about the other games today. But the reason Ant Edwards is a winning player is because he's not all offense. He's not just there complaining. Calls don't go his way sometimes. And you'll see him take a bad shot and realize his mistake. He didn't get back to cover the guy that's leaking out now for Denver, and he hustles back and he gets a block on Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, those are plays that winning players make. It's not just, you're not just going to sulk on your mistake, or you're not just going to sit there and moan or be mad that your teammate then, moved to the right spot, whatever. Like, you're going to hustle and you're going to play hard. And Edwards does that. He's always done that. I specifically remember a huge block in Indy last year that won the game. Some of y'all will remember it, where he looked like he was going to have a broken face. That's how bad he felt. But he won the game by hustling back on defense and getting the block. And those are winning plays. I'll talk about the Knicks and the Hawks last, because that is a perfect segue to talk about the Raptors and Cavaliers series, where if we're talking about Ant Edwards being a winning player, the Raptors are missing a lot of winning players. And that's ultimately what I think was the detriment today and the reason they lost the game. People might, I'll look at the pop up that box score. People might talk about, Brandon Ingram only scoring 7 points. Sure, I agree. Terrible. Like, that is not acceptable. He's supposed to be your leading scorer. He's your star player. He's the guy that you're supposed to give the ball to and let him go to work. It's not even the 7 points that bothers me, right? If you're watching this game, it's the defense. It's the hustle. It's the effort. There's, a loose ball, and you will never expect Brandon Ingram to be the one to come up with it. And that nonchalantness that's regular season stuff, man. This is the playoffs, and the Raptors, unfortunately for them, Scotty Barnes, I would say, is a winning player. The rookie, Colin Murray-Boyles, hell of a winning player. This kid, he's not going to be the jump shooter that people will fall in love with, but you want a winning player on your team. You need a Draymond Green on your team, okay? I know people hate Draymond, and yes, he crosses the line sometimes, but Draymond Green does the winning things. Draymond Green has an IQ super high in basketball. He's like taking AP classes in basketball. So that's a winning player. And those are the guys that you need on your team. The reason I love the Celtics so much this year to make it to the finals is because I feel like the whole culture has taught all their players to be winning players. There's not one player on the Celtics that I can really think of that I'm like, that guy takes terrible shots. I can't, because they know they know the smarts of basketball, and the Raptors are missing that. Like I said, to me, Scotty Barnes, Colin Murray-Boyles, and honestly, I think Jamal Shead is even a winning player, but he just, on offense, he's too erratic with the ball, too many turnovers. Today he had 3 turnovers, and but he's young, but it's about, and so is Colin Murray-Boyles, but you just can see it. It's almost like that simple, okay? It's an effort thing. And Jamal Shead may not be a 20-point scorer. He only had 3 points today. He did not play great. He didn't play good. But when I watch him play, and if I think of, okay, does this guy, can he understand when to slow the game down, when to speed it up? I think he does more than Brandon Ingram, And I don't think right now Jamal Shead is a winning player, but I see the potential with him because he's young. And Brandon Ingram is what he is. RJ Barrett is what he is. RJ Barrett, you could look at the numbers and be like, damn, 22 points, 10 for 13, 9 rebounds. Like, he played pretty well, and he did play pretty well today. But overall, if you watch last game, like, is this guy constantly in the right spots? Is he making the right rotations on defense? And when you watch the Raptors, first of all, Jakob Poeltl got benched. That's the starting center for the Raptors. And he should have, honestly, the way he played last game, and as soon as he started this game, you could tell. So good for Darko. I was harsh on the Raptors head coach for last game, but I did think this game, and I mentioned it last game, he's a rookie coach in the playoffs. He's never coached in the playoffs. I'll give him credit for this game because his guys were ready to play, except the main guys that were supposed to show up, like Brandon Ingram, right? And that's the problem. The problem at that point is you can't coach that. There's some guys you can coach. You can tell when a team is, when the coach resonates to these guys, when the young guys are out there, and understanding basketball in a smart way. And to me, the vets are going to do what the vets are going to do. And some of them, there's just no care in the world. It seems like Brandon Ingram is like, this is who he is who he's going to be. And that's that. And again, just disappointing. Like I said, winning players. I mean, Jacoby Walter, 14 points, 5 or 9 shooting. I don't care about the points. I care about the effort and stuff. And I think he played a good game. And then when you go to Cleveland, you look at Cleveland, and that's a winning team. Okay, Jared Allen, is he taking bad shots? Not really. Donovan Mitchell, is he taking bad shots? He is if the shot clock's at 2, but he understands. Does he know when to slow the game down, speed it up? Absolutely. Does James Harden know how to read the game? Yes, he does. Now, will he show up when there's a game 7? We shall see. And that's another conversation. That's about just being a clutch player. But as far as doing the right things and being a winning player, I think the Cavaliers have a lot of guys like that. Evan Mobley has played great this series. Today, he finished with 25 points on 11 for 13 shooting. I mean, they shot 53% from the floor. The Raptors shot 51% from the floor, but it's the effort. They had 22 turnovers, Toronto did. And Cleveland had 12. And their star player for Toronto had 7 points and went 3 for 15 shooting. Unacceptable. So that's that series. We'll see, obviously, what happens if the Raptors can at least sneak one out at home. And then the Knicks and the Hawks, well, this one, I don't know what to blame it on, but I think a big thing is coaching. Sometimes you just got to, if a guy's not playing smart and being a winning player, I hate to just keep harping on that, but you got to bench him. And Mikal Bridges in this one, I mean, if you watch the end and you watch that fourth quarter, he took back-to-back threes on a possession, missed them both, and he's the one who ended up taking the game, trying to hit the game-winning shot. Mikal Bridges, he went 3 for 10 today. So, again, it's just having basketball IQ. And I can guarantee you this. And in that starting lineup, Jalen Brunson is a winning player. Josh Hart is a winning player. And OG Anunoby, I think, are winning players. And honestly, Karl Anthony Towns has, I think, for the most part, improved to where he's borderline a winning player too. But Mikal Bridges, it's just man, some of those shots, it's you're not there mentally. You got to read the situation. You got to get the ball in your best player's hands. You got to, know what's up. So, again, I'm not even criticizing him for the last second heave because, that's pressure, clock's running down. Sure, you got to take a shot. But that possession where he took back-to-back threes early in the shot clock, there's not much time left in the game. You guys are, kind of starting to, give up the lead. It's not like it's a momentum shot, just not smart. And, it's not just that play that lost it. I don't think Mikal Bridges is a losing player or doesn't. I guess I would say he's more of a winning player than Brandon Ingram, for example, but those are just plays that in the playoffs can't happen, and they'll lose you games, and they lost the Knicks this game. Now, do I think the Hawks are going to win the series now? No, I do not. I think the Knicks, are loaded with smart winning players. They have their wild cards. I think Jordan Clarkson could come into a game and then suddenly start, if he's in the fourth quarter, he might be putting up some shots that he shouldn't be putting up. But for the most part, I think a guy like Jalen Brunson knows how to lead. Josh Hart, so again, playoffs is all about winning players for me. That's the way I look at teams. That's the way I kind of judge how I feel like a team's going to do in the playoffs. And, we'll talk about the other series here real quick, but Orlando, Detroit, right? So Orlando gets the win, game 1 win on the road against the number 1 seed in the East. And I'm going to look at the box score real quick just to see, because when you look at that box score right here, so let's take a look at the box score. You'll see Paolo Banchero had 23 points, 8 for 15 shooting, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, plus 10. Great game. You know who the MVP was for the Orlando Magic? Jalen Suggs. Okay. He finished with 16 points. Did he shoot the ball well? No, 6 for 16. But is he taking bad shots? He went 3 for 10 from 3, 30%. That's not great. But half of those threes are wide open that he should take. It's part of that's just how you have to play offense in basketball. If you're wide open in the corner and you don't take that 3, you might even get a turnover because your center is down low waiting for a rebound. You're going to get an offensive 3-second violation. So, but you watch that game and there's a play where in the first quarter where he literally dives all out for the loose ball and Jalen Duren's right in front of it. And you know what bothered me actually is the announcers kind of made fun of Jalen Suggs, saying he didn't really need to dive for that. I'm like, no, it's the playoffs. It's the playoffs, man. And if maybe physics-wise he didn't have to dive for it, but mentality-wise he had to dive for it. And that's exactly the stuff that's wins and losses in the playoffs. if mentally you are prepared every possession. That's why I love that Denver Minnesota series, because if you watch that series and you just watch one game, there's going to be a guy diving into the stands trying to save a loose ball, whether it was Dante DiVincenzo today or whoever it may be in the next game. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going into the stands today. We've seen more guys just on one team in that series dive into the stands than we've seen in multiple games from the Toronto Raptors or even in that one game by the Detroit Pistons. I didn't see that at all. So, again, it's similar. Orlando gets the job done. Do I think Detroit will bounce back? Yes, I definitely do. But those are the things that I think separate the winners and the losers. And that's why, so when we look ahead to tomorrow's schedule, Philly at Boston. Boston took care of business in game one. And I just think that that's a pretty quick series. I said Boston in 5. I'll stick to that. I think Philly will get one. But Boston is out there doing winning things. And that's the way. And you know why? Because they have a coach in Joe Mazzulla who, if he sees losing behavior, he will bench you. And he will let you know. And he doesn't care if your name's Jason Tatum. And what that does is that gives your guys a short leash of playing winning basketball. Not getting buckets, not getting assists. It's not all about that. It's just IQ and being smart. If he sees that you're not rotating like you should be, or you're just being lazy, he's benching your ass. And I love that about Joe Mazzulla. Portland at San Antonio tomorrow night. San Antonio got the win. Wemby's just incredible. This guy is in year 3, and he's arguably already close to being the best player in the NBA. So exciting times in San Antonio. Exciting times in Portland too, because Deni Avdija showed up. I think the Portland Trailblazers have got their guy. Remember, they're getting Dame Lillard next year, healthy Dame. I know he's older, but it's another guy that can handle the ball, help Deni Avdija. This team is on the upswing. I'm super excited for Portland. San Antonio, I think, will take the series, but obviously as expected. But overall, if it ends up being the Spurs in 5, both teams got to feel great. Houston at LA. Must win now for Houston. Must win now for Houston. Like I said, I think once KD was ruled out, it was a must win for LA because that's the one that they could steal to buy themselves some time for either Austin Reeves or Luka Doncic to come back, and they did that. So let's see, because the pressure's in Houston. If they go down 0-2, oh boy, you got a problem. Houston, you got a problem. So they can't allow that to happen. The other series, Phoenix at OKC, the Thunder are just too much. And honestly, in my predictions, I had the Western Conference Finals being the Nuggets and the Thunder, and I still have that. And I had the Nuggets beating the Thunder and knocking them off, just to make it fun. And I had the Nuggets and the Celtics in the NBA Finals. After watching today, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not switching my pick, but I worry about Denver's depth. I thought that they actually had, gotten some depth help and everything. But it does worry me a little not because their depth is bad, but because the OKC Thunder depth is so good. It's so good. And if there's that much usage rate on Jokic and Murray, and the Thunder don't need that much usage rate with SGA and J-Dub and their guys, well, when it comes to crunch time, Jokic and Murray are gassed, and SGA and J-Dub and all of their superstars, Chet, they're all not going to feel as gassed. And so we'll see how it plays out. But that Thunder team, man, you watch them, they're so deep. Isaiah Joe comes in. And they are full of winning players. And that's why, like I said, I just think like that's the top-notch teams like that who have winning players all around. Same with the Nuggets, obviously, but I think when you look at depth, they don't have the depth of OKC. So the Nuggets have 7 winning players. I think the Thunder have like 10. It's wild. And that's ultimately pretty scary. But, rotations get limited. Guys play more minutes. Maybe Jokic is in better shape by, end of May if the Nuggets end up making it that far to face if the Thunder make it that far as well. We'll see. But anyway, we'll see how everything plays out. These playoffs have been great so far. I'm so excited. And obviously, after coming off watching this game tonight with the Wolves and Nuggets, that was great. And the last thing before I leave y'all, I saw, obviously, it's been making the rounds that Bill Simmons admitted that the play-in game impacted his awards voting. So this year, usually the awards voting, I think, is submitted before the play-in games. But because Luka Doncic and Kate Cunningham and Edwards were trying to, fight to make sure that they could be eligible for these awards, I think it delayed the awards deadline. And so teams, voters got a couple extra days to make their vote. I think maybe like an extra day or two. But what that extra day or two did is allowed people to essentially watch the playing games. And so the quote from Bill Simmons, which I listen to a lot, I respect Bill Simmons, but he is a Boston homer. But his quote says, quote, "The play-in did change my sixth man of the year vote. I had Jaime Jaquez over Keldon Johnson, but then Miami lost on Wednesday. And I was like, I'm going to have the sixth man of the year on the team that couldn't get to the last round of the play-in. I switched it. That's the league's fault. They should have made us vote before the play-in game." Well, do I agree with Bill Simmons? No. I think you should be able to, in a way, just write down your vote before the play-in game, right? And don't change it. Like, you voted already. It's in your control. So just tell yourself you're not going to change it. But obviously, the thing I guess I don't blame him for is being honest. And I hate when people are either getting canceled for being honest, or people are like, he shouldn't have a vote, admitting that you switched your vote because of the play-in game. We should revoke your vote. So my question is, so what would you rather have him do? Not say it out loud and just keep it secret and not have been honest? And that's all this is going to do. Like, if Bill Simmons now loses his vote, his chance to vote for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year and all those things, what do you think that's going to do in the future when another voter, maybe this same situation plays out and they switch their Defensive Player of the Year vote last minute because, a guy played crappy defense in the play-in game? Should he not speak up? No, I think he should speak up and say the truth and be honest, because what that will do, at least, is help things moving forward. If I'm the NBA and I hear this from Bill Simmons, I'll say, thank you, Bill Simmons. Like, I appreciate you saying this, even though I don't like that you switched your vote. But this allows me now to realize, hey, some people can't keep their bias, or their, can't, unsee what they just saw in the play-in game, and it affects the votes. So I need to do something to prevent that from happening. And I would just have to then, we're going to have to decide on Ant and Luka and Cade Cunningham and get people to vote. And the deadline is before the play-in game, because, you got to kind of, once it's kind of hard to unsee it. Now, first of all, Jaime Jaquez did not play a bad game. So I don't know why. I mean, it's sixth man of the year and you're, changing your vote because of the team's, success by a game or two. Like, that's kind of, all right. So I don't agree with him switching his vote, but I just respect that he was honest, is what I'm trying to say here. And so I just didn't like that. And people were attacking him and being like, if you say this out loud, like, you should get your vote rights revoked and stuff. And I'm like, no, like, at least he's being honest. And if more people were honest, I think the world would be a better place. But maybe that's just me. So anyways, let me know what you guys think, if you think I'm wrong about that. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys as the playoffs continue. Exciting games this week. So we'll see how these first round series shape up. So far, aside from the Orlando win, everything's kind of shaping up as I expected it with my, pre-playoff picks. But I'm sure there'll be some surprises and other wrenches thrown in there as we, move further with these series. So y'all have a good night. Thank you. And I'll see you on the next one.